are some exercises from our textbook regarding identifying the population and the sample in some different scenarios. So in number 25, we're told that a survey of 1,015 U.S. adults found that 32% have had to put off medical care for themselves or their family in the past year due to the cost. And the question is, identify the population and the sample. And so, in general, the population you can see is just the big group that we're interested in learning something about. But typically we don't examine the entire group. We just look at a part of that group, hopefully a part that has been randomly selected. And that part of the big group that we actually examine is called the sample. So the sample is quite easy to identify. The sample is obviously the people in number 25 that we actually surveyed. So our sample in this case would be the 1,015 U.S. adults. Now let's think about that big group. If we examined just 1,015 U.S. adults, then what does that small group of 1,015 come from? What bigger entity does that group of people come from? Well, clearly that the bigger entity that group of people comes from is just all U.S. adults. So we would identify in this case that our sample is the 1,015 U.S. adults because those are the people we examined, and the population is all U.S. adults. Let's try that same thinking here with number 26. It says a study of, and here's the group we examined, 33,043 infants in Italy. There's our sample. Was conducted to find a link between a heart rhythm abnormality and sudden infant death syndrome. So clearly we've identified that the smaller part, and it's not that small in this case, but the smaller part of the population that we examined were these 33,000 plus infants in Italy. So now when we want to find the population, we've got to think about, okay, that's a smaller part of what bigger group? Well, this is some infants, not just from anywhere, infants specifically in Italy. So our population would be all infants in Italy. In number 27, a survey of, and here's the group we examined, 12,082 U.S. adults, found that 45.5% of them received an influenza vaccine for a recent flu season. So the part that we examined, the sample, is the 12,000 plus U.S. adults. What is that a smaller part of? What bigger group? Well, all U.S. adults. So our population is all U.S. adults.